Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. So, my weight loss has been going good. I have no problems with doing my exercises that I need. I have no problems overeating or anything like that. It's been great. No withdrawals from stopping the beer or the sugar. It's been really good so far. I'm in week 3, feeling good. But what I want to talk about this week is the obesity problem in America and why it is the way it is. According to Google, 42% of adults in our country right now are considered obese. And what does obese mean? Well, that means that your body mass index, if you're more than 25% fat, you're obese. Well, you're overweight. And some of these change depending on how you look, but then 30% and above, you're obese. And then there's extreme people. 9% of the population have extreme obesity, and those will be the poor suckers you see on My 600-Pound Life that Dr. Now tries to fix. But I've affectionately referred to us fatties as the all-American couch potato. And of course, those are the people who sit around on their couch all day and they're all night, eat food, pile food away at the office, and just get bigger and bigger. Might be eating junk food, of course, every night, drive food through pizzas and soda and all that. But the thing is, not all of us that way. We're not. We don't sit there and eat that stuff all day, all night. But we're still fat. And the reason for that is because we've been given really bad information for decades. Our government, starting about the 50s, decided they're going to help us out, tell us how to eat right for a healthy lifestyle. So they created the food pyramid. You guys might remember that, the 4 food groups. Got your grains and your dairy and your meat and your vegetables and so on and so forth. Then at the time, they thought like if I recall, 4 to 6 servings of dairy, 4 to 6 or 8 servings of pastas and grains and so on and so forth. No scientific data behind it to support any of that. That unfortunately led to the grain-based diet, which is absolutely terrible for us. Corns, stuff made out of corn, wheat, and then you get to the flour, which is the pasta, the rice, the cereal, just all you can think of. So everything was all, it just turned into this crazy, just grain-based diet, which led us on the wrong path. And a lot of the reasons behind all that is because our government, of course, is run by corporations. It flat out is. Doesn't matter what industry it is. Every corporation is paying the government to get what they want out so they can make money. It's no different. The food corporations have paid billions of dollars to our government, and they've been allowed to literally tell us what's good for us to eat. Dairy, milk does the body good. Well, we know that's not the case. Grain-based diet, we of course have learned that that's not good. But we find out that our government, 99% of our government subsidy for farmers goes to raising corn, soybeans, and wheat. Our base diet. 1% goes to actual fruits and vegetable farmers, and that's because they say they're not a sustainable actual product. Get into all that. I've got a fantastic book I'll tell you about. I'll put a link in below so you can check it out. Anyway, getting off base here. So we've been told for decades, completely incorrectly, how to eat. You know, in the 80s and 90s, it was all carbs, go carbs, go carbs. We figured out that our body runs on carbs, and yes, it does. Our body runs on carbohydrates. And then they're telling us, well, that's great, so you load up on them. Well, again, it's not scientific data behind that. What's interesting is the government never actually listens to the science. They listen to one guy they decided is the end-all be-all person that they want to believe, and then they go with that, who's probably some corporate juggernaut who's in there just so they can start selling more corn. But of course, the whole carbohydrate thing, even as a kid when I was younger, made no sense to me. I was really into kind of working out at the time. It's like, well, if our body burns carbs, that's fine. How are we supposed to burn the fat if we keep loading it up with carbs? It made no sense. Well, our body, of course, carbs, bad carbs, is sugar. In our body, pastas and all that stuff, and bread, simply turns into sugar, and sugars automatically load us up on insulin, which triggers our weight gain effect. It just automatically starts storing anything we don't burn as fat. Well, I was thinking if we're supposed to burn fat, you have to burn off the carbs first. So you need a low carb diet so that once that is gone, our body is forced to turn fat into energy to burn it. And that's how you lose weight. So back in the day when the carb thing was in, it just made no sense to me. Why would I want to load up on carbs if I'm trying to burn fat? So then after the carb thing, and they discovered that, well, that's not such a good idea. Then suddenly cholesterol became a problem. Well, again, they listened to the same guru who said, well, too much fat equals cholesterol. No scientific data behind it. In fact, the scientists at the time, this is in the 90s and 2000s, scientists at the time were saying, hey, that's not really the case. The government already made up their minds. And then they created this whole idea that take fat out of everything, which was the worst thing that could have happened to us, because not only were we already a grain-based diet, well, now you take fat out of anything. Ask any chef. Fat's flavor. It just is. As soon as you take the flavor out of food, what did they do? Loaded it with sugar. So now we got even more bad stuff going into our regular diet that our very own government telling us how we should eat. I mean, I remember going to a grocery store, seeing a huge tub of red licorice, and I've eaten a few of them in my day. Right on the tub, it says, this is a non-fat food. You kidding me? Sure, it's not non-fat food, but the sugar loads you up with fat, and it's horrible for you. So, of course, the corporations jump on the bandwagon and put out all these products and the no non-fat thing and sell billions of dollars worth of sugar that because you're not eating the fat. Low-fat milk. I mean, you shouldn't eat a lot of dairy anyway. But you take the fat out of milk, what did they do? They add sugar. And I'm going to have a whole thing on sugar. We'll talk about that. But really, if you want to drink milk, drink whole milk. It's better for you than the non-fat stuff for that reason. So through the 90s, early 2000s, it was like, cut out the fat everywhere. And there's still some interesting people, doctors and things, that are still kind of on that kick. But what science has discovered is that we need fat. Fat is really important for us, for a healthy diet. And of course, it has to be good fat. It can't, nothing homogenized. We'll get into that too. Homogenized stuff's bad. But good fats like nuts, avocados, olive oil, things like that. You can even put butter in there. Butter's not the best fat. You don't want to lead with that. But you can use it in cooking. And it's 100 times better for you than margarine. So that's really important. And so to take fat out of everything, it just added sugar. Well, we already started having an obesity problem because of the grain diet. The grain diet led to all sorts of other health problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, the list goes on and on. People have strokes because of that type of diet. And then you add sugar on top of that because they've taken the fat out of everything and it made it even worse. And so now obesity and diabetes and all the diseases associated with that are way out of control. It's a way we've decided that's the best way to eat. And it's totally doing serious taxing the heck out of our healthcare system for all the diseases and problems that this is causing. I mean, the list isn't a mile long. I have to print it one of these days. So finally, in the last 10 years or so, the government has started to listen to science, listen to nutritionists and doctors about a diet. And the food pyramids also screw with, they're still out there. It cracks me up. All the bad information is out there, but the good information is there. And so they finally discovered, you got to have fruits and vegetables, good fats, and you got to have a source of protein. I prefer meat. There's people out there that don't eat meat, obviously. They have to get their protein elsewhere. But the premise is the same. So that's why we have an obesity problem. If no one knows the difference, and you think you're eating a healthy pasta dish or whatever, you're not. And the other thing, of course, advertisers and food companies, I mean, look at the gluten problem. Suddenly, I call these Hollywood fads because there's people out there with serious gluten problems, but people get on the bandwagon and whatever. But you go to any grocery store, everything's gluten-free now. But the stuff that's gluten-free is like the muffin and the cookies and all that stuff. So they're selling you on this idea that this gluten-free with the premise that, oh my God, it must be healthy for me, it's okay. When the fact of the matter is, it's made out of some sort of corn product or wheat product, a grain product. You should be eating it anyway. So if you have a serious problem with gluten, just eat what you're supposed to eat. Vegetables, fruits, good fats, and good protein. you don't have to worry about gluten. So get off, go away from the fad stuff because it's just ridiculous. But I don't know if this has helped you out at all. But sure, we're couch potatoes. We love to eat. We like to sit down, watch football, drink beer, whatever. We like to do that. We do it too much. And it's being heavy is our fault. But as a society as a whole, when people aren't the couch potato, when you're the busy family in and out, you eat at the table real fast meals or whatever, you think you're eating well because you've been told so by our very own government. The fact is, that's not the case. So do a little research. I'm going to put a link to this book that I think is the best book I've read in all my years. It's called What the Heck Are We Supposed to Eat? And I thought it was fantastic. He goes into the history like this. A lot of this is paraphrased from that book and the other stuff I've researched. But there you have it. That's how you do it. This is why we're fat as a society. Fortunately, I think things are starting to change a bit. And thanks for checking it out. Thanks for staying with me. Hopefully this helps somebody. I'm on my diet. Life change, not diet. My next weigh-in will be Saturday. See how I'm doing. 250 by 50, baby. Stop, like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Take care. Bye.